In the previous section, we discussed and outlined the tactics that somebody who engages in coercive control might use against the intended target. In the tactics discussion, we went through a case study of somebody who controlled their partner and some of the means in which they controlled and manipulated their partner. And we also raised some questions. In this section, we're going to extend this further to looking at the tactic of recruiting other people to target their victim. And these are people that you could call enablers, accomplices, or there might be other terms that you might want to use, but the term I've used is enablers. I've used this term because they enable and reinforce the coercive behavior of the abuser. And so there are a number of things we need to take into account here. Is that it's been my experience working with a number of victims of coercive control, and also from my own personal lived experience, that the perpetrator will recruit a number of different enablers to help them to coerce, control, and manipulate their victim. These individuals are there to reinforce the coercive behavior of the primary perpetrator. And the other thing to take into account, such enablers will not, in my experience, do anything to call to account the behaviors and actions of the perpetrator. Without such enablers, their ability to have control and manipulate and isolate their victim will be very limited. It is my experience that virtually all perpetrators will recruit enablers to aid, assist, and empower them in their control over others. In the family systems, where you might have, say, a parent as the abuser, or might be even an uncle or someone else in the family system, but primarily it will be a parent, and in my experience, primarily it will be the father, although females can also exert control over others. And in same-sex relationships, where both are female, the perpetrator will, of course, by definition, be female, or in cases of non-binary, it will be one non-binary partner over another. But in my experience, the vast majority are male. And what they'll do is that they will utilize the extended family network. This can include brothers and sisters, siblings, that is, the other members of the extended family, grandparents, their own parents, uncles, aunts, cousins. Now, in addition to family members, the abuser might also recruit friends into the abuser system. And in workplace settings, it might be co-workers, in clubs and interest groups, it might be other members of the club or interest group. The thing to realize here is that anyone and everyone is potentially recruited into the system of control that the abuser has implemented. The other thing to acknowledge is that this is particularly the case in what's called systems abuse. The abuser will utilize and recruit external agencies, police, legal system, other government agencies, banks, into the system of control. The person that they recruit might not be aware that they've been recruited and manipulated into being a partner in the abuse. But in many cases, I found they are willing accomplices, and they go along and protect the abuser and enable the abuse and control that the abuser is implementing. Now, in the next section, I'll go into another case study about this. Again, if it raises any thoughts, any feelings, any memories, just go through the grounding exercise that I introduced previously. Okay, in the enabler case study, we have Sally, who was in a long-term relationship with her partner Tony. The first year of the relationship was wonderful. Tony was loving, kind, considerate, everything you want in a partner. However, over time, Sally noticed that she was being more and more controlled and suffocated by Tony's demands. She was being told what to wear and whom of her family and friends she could see. She would receive multiple text messages each day demanding she tell him where she is and what she is doing. Eventually, Sally ended the relationship, but Tony did not take it very well at all. Tony complained to his friends that he had been betrayed by her and how ungrateful she was for all that he did for her. A couple months after ending the relationship, Kira found that Tony's friends were increasingly trolling her on Instagram and Facebook. As part of starting a new life, Sarah had established a new small business doing makeup and cosmetics for weddings. To her horror, she found that her work website was being increasingly bombarded with negative reviews. While the reviews were anonymous, she is able to see similarities in each review. So, again, as with the previous section, just take time to consider the following questions. And as I said before, if it raises any thoughts, feelings, memories, and you need to take time. Take time, drop anchor, and then return. So the questions I have for you is, what experiences were the same or different to that of Sally and Tony? What was the same or different? How did they affect you and those you know? What feelings arise when you remember these experiences? And what are you feeling within your body this time? Where were these feelings located? So take time. If you want to discuss it with someone you trust, a friend, a family member, a therapist, a support person, and then return back to your thoughts and feelings.